my team ain't taking no L's. I told him you don't wanna play us. We going out town with a flight in the morning. Said fuck it, I'm just gonna stay up, yeah. Oh, I seen it all, you avert.
Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to another weekly outlook or weekly chart breakdown. As always, we'll start off on gold, dollar on a high time frame such as the weekly to see what price is at right now and to place our support and resistance zone. So looking at gold here, on the last weekly candle we did have a huge rejection to the downside, indicating that this following week we might see a continuation of the bullish trend. So let's start off by marking off support and resistance on the weekly. So we have a resistance all throughout this range. Price currently closed back above our zone of interest, and then we have this weekly highs up here. So let's call this the weekly. Now we go down into the daily time frame and we see what we get here. So looking at the daily, we have one here in confluence with the weekly time frame. We have a zone here, and then I will place another one somewhere down here where we have resistance, support all throughout this range. So looking at this, now let's put our zones around this range. Now when we're looking at the daily here, we see something very interesting, which is price creating higher lows currently, right? So we have higher low here, higher low here. So it's currently like pushing to the upside, but on the other hand, we have lower highs being created here. So we have this lower high, which is lower than this low here, right? So basically, this is a form of a triangle pattern where price can now just, break out of this triangle, come back for a pullback, and then continue higher. Or we could see a break to the downside, a retest, and then a continuation to the downside. So when we're coming down into the 4-hour time frame, let me remove this here real quick. So on the 4-hour time frame, we did break structure to the upside. We were in a short-term bearish trend right here. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low, lower high, equal low, and then we created a new higher high. Came back for the pullback and retest into this weekly and daily zone and are currently rejecting. So here we will place a 4-hour support and resistance range over here, because when we look at the left here, we see some form of a rejection here, and we also see a strong rejection zone all the way up here. So this is why I'm placing the 4-hour zone over here right now. So let's put a zone around this range as well so we can, see this as a zone. Okay, so now let's hop down into the 1-hour time frame and see what we get here. So basically, we are bullish on the weekly, we are bullish on the 4-hour, we are bullish on the 1-hour, as you guys can see, higher high, high low. And what I'm gonna be waiting for now is basically a pullback back into the support range, also a rejection of the 50 EMA to see if we can buy back up into the 2439s. What I would also like to see is a break and retest above this range for a continuation and buys all the way up into the 2477 range. Now, when would I be looking to take sales? If we see price starting breaking back under this low over here, closing back under, also closing below the 50 EMA, coming back for a pullback, retest, rejection, so we could take sales all the way back down into the 2392s. And now once price reaches this range down here, obviously we've had some support reaction previously, so we could anticipate that based off this range, we could also see a form of a bullish impulse to the upside back up into this range. And if price should just come back down, break below this range, and also break below these lows here, let me actually adjust this here a little bit. Let me adjust this to here. Okay, so once we see price pull back and break this low, and then we could wait for a pullback to take sales all the way back down into new lows, right? So that's basically my take on gold as of right now. As always, guys, just react and adapt to what the market is doing. As of right now, the daily is bullish, the weekly is bullish, the 4-hour and the 1-hour are bullish, so I'm mainly going to be looking to take buys. Now obviously, depending on where the market is going to be once New York session starts, that will determine if we are going to be bullish buys for the day or if we're going to be bearish buys for the day. So that's my take on gold. Now let's hop on over to NAS100 and see what we get here. So same thing here, right? We start off on a higher time frame such as the weekly time frame here, and what I see right now is price has now rejected this entire weekly support range down here, which we could place somewhere around here. So we can call this the weekly. We did get a tap into the support range and currently closed in form of a rejection candle. And when we're looking at the weekly time frame overall, we see that price has created higher highs and higher lows all of the time. So what I was mentioning last week is that we were in a form of a pullback phase, right? We're currently still in the pullback phase as long as we don't break these highs over here. But it is looking like this week we could see a nice continuation of the overall bullish trend on the high time frames. So now let's hop on down into the daily time frame and place our support and resistance on the daily here. which we also get another nice one over here. So we had support here, we had resistance all throughout this range, and we're currently back above that support range. And now we can also draw another one somewhere around this range here where we have resistance, and then we break above, come back for a retest, and then continue to the upside. So these are currently our zones of interest. So let me also mark off a rectangle around these so you guys, understand a little better the price action at this point. So let me draw this all the way up into this over here, or actually to the downside. Yeah, let's do it down here, and then another one up here. So when we're looking at the daily, obviously the daily as of right now is still bearish. So we have the weekly bullish, we have the daily bearish, and in a second we will check out what the 4 hour is doing. But the daily, we have a lower low, lower high, lower low, and this, if this area would have been rejected, right, then we could have seen a continuation of sales. But currently price closed above this range, so as long as it's above this range, we could definitely see price come back up into the 18,900 or 1900 flat before we see another bearish impulse. So coming down into the 4 hour now, the 4 hour also just changed the structure to a bullish market structure. So now we got the weekly bullish, we got the 4 hour bullish, and we just have the daily bearish. So ideally what you want to wait for here is basically, if you want to take advantage of this bullish trend on the 4 hour and on the weekly, you can wait for a pullback into the support range, see if price can bounce along this range, and then take buys back up into the 1900s flat. Now once price reaches this area, we could definitely see a rejection back down into this range, or at least back down into here. Before then we might get that break and retest to the upside here, which then also would change the trend on the daily time frame. Once we break these highs over here, we will break the previous daily highs and create new highs, meaning that then we would have the weekly, daily, and the 4 hour in sync. So when would I be looking to take sells? Anywhere from this range to the downside. So let me mark this off as well. So basically once price should break these lows, right, then I will wait for a pullback. I need at least like a 1 hour or 4 hour candle closure below this range. Need to wait for that pullback and the rejection, so we could say take sells all the way back down into this 1729 range. So that's the only way where I will be looking to take sells. Or if we get a pullback into this range and we see a rejection on the daily, then I would also be interested in taking sells all the way back down. But overall, the trend on the higher time frames is bullish, so we always gotta keep that in mind and mainly be looking to take trades that go with the trend, which in this case is bullish. So yeah guys, that's basically my take on gold and on NAS. As always, we got to react and adapt to what the market is going to do during market open. Obviously by market open, price could already be all the way up here or all the way down here, so you just got to readjust your zones and see where price could head next, right? So that's basically that guys. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.